Hello there and welcome to Elite Dangerous. My name is Phil and the idea behind this series I'm going to do on Elite Dangerous is because as a fairly new player myself, I've been playing since December from the full release of the game. We're now in version 1.04. Um, I didn't play in the beta, and when it came around to play the game, I found it difficult to get into. There is a tutorial. It's a series of missions which you can play, which I recommend you do play. But I got to a couple of them and just found myself a little bit bored and wanting to actually get playing in the game. But once you jump in, it's quite complicated, and you need to know how to do a lot of things. And I've spent a good few hours in this game and learned a few of them. But if I can help people who are just starting, um, then that would be fantastic. So that's the idea behind the series. Is we're going to go through some of the basics of Elite Dangerous. Now, to begin with in Elite Dangerous, you start off at a random space station in your Sidewinder with 1,000 credits. If you're unsure of what Elite Dangerous is to begin with, it's a sandbox space simulation. So it is based upon the entire Milky Way. There's thousands of planets, thousands of space stations to go to, plenty of things to explore. It's not a linear game in such as you have one mission, it gets to this point, then it goes to another point, then it goes to another point. So if you're looking for that sort of game with a start and a finish, then this definitely isn't that. If you're looking for something which you're going to play for probably a very long time, and they're going to keep updating the game as well with new things which are coming out, then you'll probably enjoy this game. It's very sandboxy. I called it Minecraft in space, which is completely inaccurate, but it's that kind of vibe basically, where there are some things you can do, some goals you can go towards, but ultimately it's just about having fun and doing things within space. So just as I said before, you start off with a Sidewinder, which is pretty much the most basic ship, and 1,000 credits. The Sidewinder you have is loaned to you, so if it gets destroyed, you get it back for free. Unless you've made any upgrades to it or anything like that, then you have to pay for it. But that's a good thing about starting out, because although you start off very poor and only with a Sidewinder, which is not a terrible ship to be honest with you, it has a lot of advantages. The fact is, you can make your mistakes, you can learn from them. I certainly had my Sidewinder destroyed a few times by picking fights which I wasn't really ready for, and by flying into suns. So it's always worth remembering that. Make your mistakes early, because they get expensive later on. Now what we have here is we're in a space station, the Cerebroth station, and I've docked in here in my Sidewinder, and we're just going to go through about the space station to begin with, and then we'll get to the whole flight and navigation and all that sort of thing basically. So we go into I'm using a keyboard and mouse. I'll go through what keys I'm using with you as well, so you can rebind anything you like to whatever you want to use, which is fantastic. And also, it's recommended you use a flight stick and throttle. I just don't have one, which is why I'm not using one, but I'm definitely going to get one, because I heard they're absolutely fantastic in this game, and I really think that would help with the immersion. And definitely, as I've spent a good few hours in this game, it would be worth it. So we're using W and S just to scroll through this menu. We're going to go to Starport Services. So that's basically everything you can do within the space station. Okay. So here we are. So in the Cerebroth station, this is like your home page basically. In it, you can see you've got your ship analysis. We've got the Sidewinder. Its hull's 100%, fuel tank's 100%, reservoir's 100%. If you can hear some lasers in the background, that's somebody getting destroyed because they have a bounty. Probably been destroyed by that explosion there. So we have that's your ship analysis. As I say, we're just in the Sidewinder, the little beginning ship. Very small, agile, nimble, pretty good as a beginner, because it's easy to land, easy to dock. It can run away quite easily, and it's not terrible in a fight either if you upgrade it a little bit. We'll go through all those later on. So, as I said, what you can do on your homepage, you can refuel. You could do 10%, perhaps if you didn't have the credits or just wanted a little bit in there. You can refuel it all, repair it all, and if you had weapons which had ammo, then you could reload all of them. When you start off with lasers, they don't have ammo. They just use power, so you don't have to ever reload them, which is one of the good things about them. On the right here, we have the news. It's kind of like flavor text, I like to call it.
gives you a little bit of a sense of what's going on in and around the universe. One of the things I like best about this game is the fact that I just feel kind of like a small part in a giant world, and I really like that. Sometimes in games, you you're the kind of like the main hero, your main protagonist, and that's fantastic. But it's kind of nice to have a different kind of pace within a game. I'm sure as you get more powerful, you become more of a force within the galaxy. But the reality is that there's this whole kind of war within the whole of the Milky Way going on, and you're just one guy. So things you do have consequences. I'll go into that as well, but ultimately, there are three factions fighting it out. You've got the Federation, the Alliance, and the Imperial, I think, the Empire, as well. All have their own, pluses and minuses. I don't think there's any real good guys and bad guys. Maybe Imperials are a little bit baddies, but there's definitely, it's not kind of a straight out good versus evil or anything like that side of things. Yeah, so then on the left you have your station. It tells you what faction control this station. That's important because as well as having the three overarching factions, as I just mentioned, you also have loads and loads and loads of little factions as well, and you can get in their good books by doing little missions for them, which get unlock bigger missions, which get you more money, get you more stuff, all that kind of thing as well. So there's loads of little things to do. So there is progress in this game. That's perhaps one of the things which is misled. It's not just about going out, buying a bigger ship, earning more money, going around. There's progress you can do to build up relationships with different people, go around, have some fun, and it unlocks bigger things, which also I'll go into a bit later. And you've got your balance of your credits. I've played this game for a while, so I've got a fair few credits in the bank as well. But believe me, that is nothing compared to what you need for some of the bigger ships as well. Next up, munitions. If you wanted to just resupply some of your guns, if you had missiles and guns, for example, missiles are very expensive. You may not want to resupply all of them. You may just want to resupply a few, which you could do. As I've just got lasers on the Sidewinder, there's nothing here to do. Again, with repairs, you can choose what you want to repair. You may not be able to afford everything, for example. You're pretty much 100% here. This always seems to be next up, you have the bulletin board, which is one of the most important things. This is basically where you get your missions from. So when it loads up, we'll see. There's available missions here, and available but unattainable missions here. So what that means is basically I can do any of these missions I want. Some of them you can see have money. Some of them are about progression within the Federation. I'm in a Federation zone, so I've been doing missions for them. And they've got some Black Ops missions here. Basically means I have to kill someone. The reason why this is unattainable is the faction does not trust you enough. So as I said before, it's about smaller factions. You build up with them, you go through and gain their trust, and you can unlock their missions. Missions vary greatly from just taking some, say, copper to another place, to destroying. Oh no, sorry, this is collecting like a black box in a going to a place, collecting something is considered illegal, so there's all sorts of things which come with that. It earns you a good amount of credits. Some of them go up to, say, like nearly 200,000 credits sometimes for an assassination mission, but you have to bear in mind you're going against someone very strong for that amount of money, and it's not really wise to do so in a Sidewinder when you begin. The idea is to build up, make your ship stronger, build up, go for the bigger contracts. Once you get a bit of money, it's a lot easier to make money. I guess that's like real life as well. But when you start off with just 1,000 credits, it's a difficult start, and it does take a bit of perseverance. But it's also the learning process as well for going through it. So that's the button to the boards where you get your missions. Next up is contact. This is where you pay off your fines. You collect bounties if you happen to kill somebody who had a bounty on them within the Federation. As this is a Federation place, then you could collect a bounty on it. Bounties are a good way to make money too. They can range from a few hundred credits up to the highest one I've got so far is about 50,000 credits, but you can get them higher than that as well. So you can make good money on them definitely just for killing someone basically, and there's no consequences. They're wanted when you kill them. If you kill them and they're not wanted, then there are consequences. What we also have here is a black market. So this is where you can sell illegal goods. So every system has certain goods which are banned within it. Also, it has it also has stuff which you maybe have stolen, which you want to sell. You couldn't sell them on the commodity markets because obviously they're stolen, and you can get rid of them. They don't go for as much money as on the normal market, but obviously you probably haven't paid for them, so you're making a good profit. So that's the kind of irony side of things. It can be that you just gone and just found them basically. Sometimes people will literally just jettison them because they can't be bothered with the hassle of trying to get them into a space station to sell them. You can just scoop them up, and if you can be bothered with that hassle, then you can make a good profit from there. So that's contacts. Next we have marketing, which is all about what your ship is about basically. So you have hard points to begin with, that's your guns, also your utility mounts, which holds things like um, chaff launchers, which can disrupt weapons, electronic countermeasures, which disrupt missiles, things like that. And there's all different ratings. You'll see like ratings go from a low rating I all the way up to say like A, which are extremely expensive, but they're basically a lot better. There's lots of intricacies to do with this, to do with these charts over here which you have, so your mass, your jump range, your power usage. I won't go into that to begin with because it's quite complicated, but I probably will do a separate mission on that. Next you have internal. You'll see it says loaned here and everything, so that basically means I don't have to pay anything back if the ship got destroyed, as I said before. However, this cargo rack I did buy, so I would have to pay some money to get that back. I think I have to pay 50 credits if I wanted that back, which, considering it costs me like 1,000 or something, is not really too bad. But as you go up and you build your ship up higher and higher, one of the ships I have at the minute is a Type 6 hauler, I believe, and to get that back, it cost me 56,000 credits. So it is not cheap. Not a good idea to die when you own your ship. When you loan your ship, it's not too bad. Livery is just about the paint jobs. I believe you can buy them on the marketplace. Some of them look absolutely fantastic. If you want a bit of personalisation, they're a couple of pounds. Up to you whether you want to do that. I believe you may be able to earn them by doing other things, but I haven't come across that yet. So that's outfitting. As I say, I'll go into that more detail in another video. But then we have the shipyard. Shipyard is where you buy your ships, as you probably would expect. Now, I don't have any stored ships here. Every time you buy a ship, it stores your ship at that particular hub. So I generally try to buy them at the same place, then all your ships are at the same kind of location. But all the different hubs also sell different ships. So you have that. If one place doesn't do the ship you want, then you have to go somewhere else. As you can see, they vary wildly in price. So you can get an Eagle, which is a good kind of hunter, a fighter, for 44,000 credits. Going up, you've got a Type 7 transport here for 17 million, an Asp for 6, an Anaconda is 146 million. So my balance puts that into perspective. I would need to do a lot of work to get up to. But having said that, this ship is absolutely ginormous and a total beast. So that's a real end game kind of ship, which one day, I may be lucky enough to own, but it would be a long way away, I think. There are some really good starting ships in here. As I said, the Eagle is only 44,000. The Adder I found very good. I brought that as one of my starter ships. It has good cargo hold and things like that. I'll do a little video on ships as well, my recommendations and things like that as well, because depending on what path you want to go down, it varies wildly for ships. The Adder is terrible in combat, as I found out, but the Eagle is brilliant. So if you wanted to go down that path, obviously there's choices to be made there. Each ship have strengths and weaknesses basically. It's what you want to go through. So if you wanted to become a real trader, then something like the Type 7 transporter, it just has massive amounts of cargo space, but it handles like a beast. My Type 6 is it's terrible. Trying to dock it is really difficult, compared to something like this Sidewinder I'm in. So that's another great thing basically, is that they're not just super powerful. These they each have their strengths and weaknesses as you go through. So that's the shipyard. Next we're going to move on to the commodities market. You'll see here The way this basically works is pretty similar to most other games, I think, really. You have all the goods you can buy or sell down the left-hand side here. Lots of minerals, technologies, textiles, waste, weapons, things like that. That's the sell price you've got next up. So if you had any of that cargo, you could sell it for that price. The next one is the buy price. Sometimes they don't have a buy price. That's because you literally can't buy them. They have no stock of it. You see the supply here. Different places do different things. The more they have of it, the cheaper it'll be. Kind of makes sense. The more the demand is, the more you can sell it for. So, for example, within this site, what are they going to want? They're going to want, yeah, probably something like have a medium demand here for coltan, and something like beryllium, maybe. You know, you have to do a little bit of detective work. A pad and pen also helps if you want to go down this route. It's a little bit old school. I sometimes just take pictures on my phone of different commodity markets to kind of have a look through, because sometimes by the time I've travelled somewhere else, I've completely forgotten how much animal meat costs and things like that. So that's basically the commodities market. It shows you a galactic average here, so it gets an idea of how cheap it is compared to a lot of places. When a place demands something, it's usually a lot higher than the galactic average, and when it's got something, it's usually a lot lower. It can vary though, so if you get a good run on something, you can make a good amount of profit on it. You know, the more you have, for example, if you had a cargo hold full of gold, you're going to be a bit of a target for pirates around there. So it's not without its risks. But it also tells you on the right here, there's a little bit of flavor text again about the actual thing itself, and also it tells you where, for example, it's imported from. So you know that perhaps algae would be pretty cheap in an HS 3447 or Eravate. When you're supplying, it tells you where you're supplying to, which can give you a good idea of where to take the stuff to sell it. Down here you've got your cargo space. At the minute I've got one food cartridge in here. If I was to sell this, I would lose a little credits. Really the end of the world, but there you go. Then it also obviously just tells you your balance as well. One thing worth noting, if you get destroyed with your cargo, you lose the money. So trading is not without its risks. You can make good money on it, but it obviously is quite a risk. Universal cartographics is all about exploration. So you start off with a basic scanner in your Sidewinder. You can go around to different systems, you can scan them, you can then sell that data on. Pretty simple. You can upgrade your scanner, go to further away uncharted places. You'll make more money the further you travel to then go and sell the stuff, and you can make good money that way. And it's probably pretty relatively risk-free, I guess, unless you run into pirates and things like that, but you can do that in anything you do really. Yeah, so there's lots of different options, ways and things you can do to make money. Another thing which we haven't talked about is mining. You can go mining asteroids to make money off them. You can just go bounty hunting to collect bounties on people without ever having a mission for it. There's lots of things you can do basically. You could just go be a pirate, steal people's cargo. That's the thing. Whatever you want to do, that's the whole sandbox side of it. So that's really a brief rundown of what you get in the station. In the next video we'll run through everything to do with your cockpit, the HUD, your navigation displays and all those kinds of things, and then from then onwards we'll go into the flights, how to control your ship, etc, etc. So thanks a lot. It's been the first video. I hope it's been good for people, and there's more to come.